a really awful moment for Tomiyasu. He played it backwards to Ramsdale. It was never going to reach him. De Bruyne stole in and lobbed the advancing goalkeeper. That was 1-0. But then a really controversial penalty award. Ederson came to meet the attack of Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah got it beyond Ederson, and it was going towards the net. Ake cleared it off the line. Arsenal were appealing for the ball having crossed, and then found to their delight that it was a penalty because Ederson was adjudged to have gone in too late on Nketiah. From the spot, it was tucked in by Saka. At half-time, already huge talking points. It's Arsenal 1, City 1. Let's go back and hear the thoughts of the panel alongside Natalie.
Thank you so much to Ali Man. Loads of talking points from that first half. We'll get into that incredible finish by Kevin De Bruyne. But I feel like we've got to start by talking about that Arsenal penalty, which, of course, they equalised with. I'm still joined in the studio by Kolo Toure, Steve Howey and Paul Dickov. Right, I want everybody's opinion kind of straight off. Is that a penalty, yes or no?
No.
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 OK, right, I'm going to come to you, Kolo, because you were the one that thought about it most. So, what did you make of it? What was your thoughts?
When you looked at that action again, Nketiah just hit the ball goes, and then the goalkeeper just come and touch him. Why I hesitate a little bit in the World Cup, if you remember, Argentina against France, I think, and it did happen in one of the games there, and I think the guy scored, and it was a penalty for France, I believe, if I don't make a mistake. The guy touched the ball, and then it was a goal for Argentina, sorry, and he touched the ball. And the goal, they saved the ball and they touch the striker and they give a penalty. That's why I hesitate a little bit there, but I still believe that's harsh, really, in my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, it feels harsh because Nketiah has got the ball, and what we're not doing now is talking about the fact that Nathan Ake makes an incredible goal line clearance, because obviously it wasn't a goal. But if Nathan Ake doesn't make that goal line clearance with centimetres to spare, the ball goes in. So for me, it's not... Ederson's run into him because they've both gone for the ball. He's not stopped him in any way playing or... So it feels like, if it is correct by the laws of the game, it feels like, again, the laws of the game are strange, Steve, because it's not impeded or affected Nketiah in any way.
I think for me, it's a very harsh decision. I mean, there's contact there. You can't get away from that. As a goalkeeper or even as a defender, you've got to go as quick as you possibly can. But he kind of still stops. Yes, he's kind of jumping in front of him, but that's what a goalkeeper has to do. If you notice, really, the contact is not necessarily from Ederson kind of taking him out. It's from Nketiah. When he hits that ball, when he plays the ball, his legs moving forward, which in turn makes contact with the goalkeeper. Yes. So there is the contact there. But really, it's been done, let's just say, if you see it, 50-50 from the both of them. Yes. When we've seen it, we just think, well, what to give? Now, obviously, VAR can't get involved because VAR, Stockley Park, they're looking at that and thinking, well, that's not a clear and obvious error because as far as they're concerned, there's contact. But I think, so therefore they can't get involved. I think if they do get involved, then I still think Anthony Taylor might look at that and go, well, it's going to take a big referee to change that decision. So I don't think he would have changed it even if he was asked to go and look at the camera. But I think it's a very harsh decision.
And Ali Man said it in commentary several times, Paul. Not one player on the pitch shouted for it. The crowd didn't shout for it. The penalty gets called and we were all instantly, he's given a penalty? And we had to watch it back to realise what it was. It
was, and you've just stole my thunder there, because that's what I was going to say. It's just... For me, none of the players... The biggest reaction you get is from the players, isn't it? None of the City players thought that was... Obviously, that had happened. None of the Arsenal players appealed, and Nketiah didn't even appeal. Now, that's got to give you some sort of clue, and Steve's bang on. Ederson has come out and he's jumped, but both players' momentum's brought them into each other.
Yeah.
So how can you differentiate what team gets the foul from it?
Yeah.
If Ederson had got the foul from it... If the ball went in the net and Ederson got the foul, we'd be sitting here going... That's not right.
Yeah.
On the flip side of it is the penalty. And look, there's still 45 minutes to go. There's a long way to go. And Kolo knows this better than everybody. In the big games, mistake, which Tomiyasu for the goal, and big decisions can decide it.
Exactly.
And we've had 2 of them in the first half. I can't understand why the penalty's been given. I really can't. And I know the rules are the rules with VAR, but then why is VAR there in the first place if they're not going to have a look at it?
Yeah, why have we got it if we're not going to really, really utilise it? I suppose it's worth saying as well that Ederson was already on a yellow card because he was booked in the 36th minute for time wasting, which was also very bizarre to me. But in this instance, then I'm presuming that the referee felt that that was careless from Ederson as opposed to reckless from Ederson, which is why he didn't get booked.
If Ederson's not been booked for time wasting, he gets booked for that.
But then, so that would mean the referee would have classed it as reckless, and that was just...
It's not reckless. I think, for me, Ederson can be a little bit... if City are winning the second half and he does take his time a little bit, I think he can flirt with that yellow card because it's a big decision for a referee to then give him a second yellow card for time wasting. I think he was harsh done by the first one because he's gone to actually make his decision, and I think obviously there's been a shout from the side and he's changed his mind. He's not trying to waste time. Why would you want to waste time in the 37th minute? It's not as though they're trying to do anything, to waste time.
I think the Arsenal fans putting a lot of pressure on the referee. You can feel it. Every little things, every little foul, they shout, they put them in the referee on a big pressure, and he could see that he's getting some time involved in things that he doesn't need to. We saw the...
But that's one of our top referees, Kolo.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, along with Michael Oliver, he's classed as the Class A one, so he's one of the ones that goes to the World Cups and stuff like that. I mean, me and Dickie were talking about, I think it's Saliba. He has a foul committed against him when he's just tussling with the ball with Haaland. There's nothing wrong with it. It's you don't get on with it.
Even though we got the foul for it.
Yeah, it's not a foul.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't get involved when you don't need to. Especially when players don't lose the ball, just leave the ball goes.
Yes. I do think we do have an issue with time wasting in the game, but I also do find it slightly ironic that we're being punished for it because it often seems that it's teams that time waste against us. So that's our thoughts on the penalty situation. Let's have a talk now about City's goal. Came from the mistake from Tomiyasu, but the finish. A mistake from Tomiyasu cannot take anything away from that level of finish from Kevin De Bruyne.
It can, but I think a lot of credit's got to go to Jack Grealish as well for putting the pressure on him. If Jack doesn't go and press, Tomiyasu doesn't make that mistake. Jack's forced him into it. But when the balls went to Kevin, I'm thinking he's going to take it down and take it round him because he's one-on-one. But he's such a special player on his weak foot, and the finish is just exquisite. He's probably the only player on the pitch that would have done that finish.
I loved it. When you watch that goal back, if you haven't seen it yet, watch the replay back. And we all very much enjoyed watching Jack Grealish's face. Watch the goal first, then slow-mo watch Jack Grealish's face as he realises, he's hit it. Oh, is that going in? It's brilliant. You've got to watch it. How hard is that finish, Steve, from your opinion? He's quite far out. It's on the strange angle. How good was it? It's
a brilliant finish. As I said, I think... a lot of players, most players really, would have tried and go around the goalkeeper, obviously to the goalkeeper's right, and then try and slot it in. For him to sort of hit it, and if you look at the angle of the ball as well, it's actually curling in the air, it's bending, and it just nicks it into the post. I mean, the chances of missing that is massive, but as we know, he has got quality, so whilst it's a super finish, it's no surprise.
Kolo, what I really liked about it as well is that it had come originally from a long kick, a long ball from Ederson, which we don't often see. But I liked the fact that we were playing with variety there. We tried to play it out, and Arsenal had been pressing so high that Ederson had changed it up for once and gone for this long ball, which had then led to the kind of pressure from Jack Grealish.
The space is being really because Arsenal is putting a lot of pressure on the City players, and this is for me one of the first time I see City players losing a lot of balls on the middle especially, but that coming from the pressure from Arsenal. And again, when a team press like that, the space is being, and Pep Guardiola is a very intelligent guy, and he allows his player to play that. And this is a brilliant finish. One thing for the defender of Arsenal, Tomiyasu, when you make that kind of mistake and the ball goes to the goal, you don't want to see Kevin De Bruyne there because you know it's a goal. And he's a brilliant player. And great game. We just looking to see the end.
How do we feel about the first half overall? Because it's not often that City are not dominating possession, 60% to Arsenal in that first half, 40% to City. What's your kind of take overall on the performances from the first half?
I think you've got to be completely honest and say Arsenal were a slightly better team. You know, as much as well when City were Man City hats on, they've been excellent. But I agree with Kolo completely. City, it's been uncharacteristic the amount of times they've gave the ball away. You know, for playing that little ball from the back into midfield or the ball from midfield in between the lines, a lot of it's been intercepted. And that's the time, as Kolo said, that's when you've got to look at the spaces in behind. Because Erling's been a threat up against the two centre-halves. Every time the balls went in the channel, he's got there and he's bullied them a little bit. Then you need to build from that. And what we can't let happen is, I hate going back to the derby when the big decision Rashford went against us, we lost our heads a little bit. So the players have just got to keep calm. And Pep in the change room, they're experienced enough to know, you know, there's a intimidating atmosphere, everything else. They've just got to kill the game a little bit and start playing the football again.
Yeah. Can we have a little talk about Bernardo Silva as well, Steve? Because I've kind of been fascinatingly watching him and trying to learn and trying to take in what he's doing. Can you describe his tactical position when we are in offence and defence?
Well, we're attacking. Obviously, he wants to try and get involved as much as he possibly can. We sort of said he was going to be floating. He hasn't necessarily gone across the other side of the pitch, but he wants to try and get involved. I think the term has been used, inverted fullback. So he does tuck in that area, but he has been getting back as well. So when the time arises that he has to be in his position, which he was supposed to be, even though we are playing a 3, he comes back. Ultimately, he has been booked as well through with a challenge on sack. I think that's what we might have to be careful of, because whilst I actually rate Anthony Taylor as a very good referee, I think this evening hasn't been a brilliant performance from him. Maybe he's, you know, and I'm not. This is not me saying it with a kind of a City hat on, but I think Silva will have to watch that, because obviously if he goes back into that position marking Saka, we all know how good Saka is, and he just like to nick the ball away just as a player tries to come in and get it. He could be kind of facing a bit of a tightrope there, so he's got to be careful. But ultimately, what he's tried to do offensively has been very good, and obviously what he tries to do defensively has been very good. I mean, he's not a defender, but I think what he's doing defensively wise has been actually very good.
He's been brilliant. He's been, for me, playing that position for a guy who's not used to playing that kind of position, and he's been doing very well. He's getting back to position when the ball goes on the other side. When they have the ball, he come on the middle. He just, with his quality, he can make passes, turn, play forward. But for me, defensively, the work he done on Saka has been great.
In terms of the second half, Paul, any changes? If not, when and who?
I think Pep, I mean, saying that the weekend he took Erling and Ruben Diaz off at half-time, but that was obviously precautionary. But he doesn't tend to make changes early into the second half, maybe around 70-75 minutes, depending on the ways the game's going. It'd be interesting to me, and Cole, you might know this better, watching Arsenal more, can Arsenal keep that intensity up for 90 minutes against a Man City team that will grow into the game and keep the ball, because it's so difficult to do. You've got to give them loads of credit because their energy levels have been fantastic in that first half. It's whether they can sustain that. And if they do start getting a bit tired, God well know that the first thing that goes isn't your legs, it's your concentration levels. So that's going to be interesting for me.
Man City really haven't had their period.
Yes.
You know, they've had little tiny spells, but they haven't had sustained pressure. And I think for the Arsenal players, what's kept them going the first half is the atmosphere. But eventually, it will catch up and fatigue will set in, because when City do have that period where they are keeping the ball, it's absolutely imperative all the Arsenal players keep switched on. But seeing it and doing it is two different things.
You can see the players are in the tunnel now, ready to come out for the second half. Thank you, gents, thank you. We will be back here at full time, hopefully talking about a City win, because of course that win would take us top of the league. Get your second half commentary with Alistair Mann and Michael Brown on the City app. It's a big 45 minutes, Blues. Enjoy it. We'll see you at full time.
Welcome back to the Emirates Stadium as